Hello and welcome to Retro Reviews, my channel where I review my favorite retro video games of all time, as well as some modern releases I have recently finished. The retro game that I want to look at today is Jet Force Gemini for the Nintendo 64 and later on for the Xbox One in Rare Replay. That is the title of that's the platform that I played Jet Force Gemini on. I actually missed it as a kid. I always thought it looked really cool, and as I grew up, I saw videos on YouTube talking about it as an underrated gem. I always wanted to play it, but I never bought the cartridge, so when I got an Xbox One and got Rare Replay, I'm like, finally, I get to experience this one. And it was a blast. It was so much fun. Which makes up for the fact this is one of the weirdest and poorly paced games I've ever played, with some of the wonkiest dialogue and weird, twists and turns here. I'm going to be spoiling this entirely, so if you somehow haven't played it and care about the storyline of this super old game, go get it on Rare Replay, emulate it, whatever you want to do. But I will be doing full spoilers for this one, just to be warned here. So Jet Force Gemini, you play as a crew of 3. You play as Juno, Vela, and Lupus, a dog. And they have their own unique skills to go out and defend the galaxy and stop Mizar. He's the main antagonist of this game. You're fighting primarily against bugs. They're typically ant creatures or variants like that, or beetle-looking things. The boss fights are usually some kind of gigantic version of these enemies. It's very creative. I like what they did with this one. You play as 2 humans and a dog here against a bunch of insects trying to overthrow the planet. You're also saving little tribals, is what they're called. These little apes. I can't tell if they're apes or if they're bears. I'm pretty sure they're bears. I think that's right. I think I looked it up and they are in fact bears. Little white bear looking creatures here. And you try and go throughout each world and saving as many of those as you can, while also eliminating all the threats as well. It's very, very fun. The gameplay itself is superb. The shooting is fantastic. The platforming is so-so. There is some platforming in here because this is a Rare game. They are known for their platformers, so they had to insert some here. It's okay. It's not great, and sometimes it's very frustrating, but the shooting is so much fun. There is a huge diversity of weapons that you can go from. You have the pistol that if you hold down the trigger, it will fire really fast for a short period of time and then have to kind of recharge before it can shoot quickly again. Shoots really slow if you just hold down the trigger indefinitely. You have the machine gun, which is probably the most versatile weapon in the game. Spewing bullets everywhere is really, really helpful, especially in a game like this where it's not super accurate. A lot of the stuff needs to be fairly accurate, and it's hard to do that. Machine gun covers a lot of space, which is really, really nice. You have tri-rocket launcher, a homing rocket launcher, grenades, remote mines. You have random stuff like flares and fish food that are extremely niche that you will almost never need, one time in the game maybe. It's very charming. The weaponry is very, very good. I think it's extremely well placed as well. Each character has to unlock their weapons by themselves, so if you unlock it with one, it doesn't automatically unlock for anybody else. Same thing goes with anything like the keys that unlock certain doors in different worlds. You have to get those individually to progress throughout the story. Originally, you will take the role of Juno and Vela and Lupus independently. They'll have their own branching paths that will come back together at the halfway point of the game. It feels like the end point. You're going through these different worlds, exploring different areas. You're taking out the threats. You're saving your tribals as much as you can. You'll see places where you can't reach with the character you're playing as, and you'll think, well, I probably need to come back with another one, and you are absolutely correct. Once you converge on Mizar's palace, you fight him, and he runs away and like a big old coward, and he seeks to destroy Earth. And then you have the second half of the game. First half of the game is fantastic. It feels really well paced, pretty straightforward. You just go throughout the path, you do your thing, you get rid of as many bugs as you possibly can, and then you move on. Eventually, you'll switch to a different character, and you'll go back and forth until you converge. And then at that point, you can go back and backtrack to each of these worlds as any character as you choose and get all the stuff that you missed. And you are actually required to do this too, because the game throws you a big curveball. So this is where the poor writing and the weird pacing comes into play here. This game will tell you, one of the tribal leader guys will say, oh no, Mizar's going to go destroy Earth, and your ships just aren't fast enough to catch him. A good thing we have this ship that's from our ancient ancestors that they had, but we don't have all the parts. You have to go find all the parts first. That's not something that you've been doing this entire time. We could have told you about that earlier, but we didn't. And also you need to go save all the tribals before I give you the final part here. Just business here. That was baffling to me. I'm like, you have this ship that's not complete, that you say is fast enough to catch Mizar. My ships can't, but now I'm on this. Now I have a limited amount of time to stop Mizar from destroying my planet. But you're going to make me go out and save all the other tribals first on every other world and find all these hidden ship parts before I can get this ultra fast ship to go stop Mizar. It just doesn't make any sense. The writing in this game is absolutely terrible. The final twist at the end of the game too is that Mizar is actually the brother of the main tribal leader guy, and he went off and created this character Mizar to show that he was just as cool as his brother, who was going to be king, and he was going to be left with nothing. It's absolutely stupid. The dumbest twist I've ever seen in a video game. I was like, what is this garbage? It's so dumb. But it's, it's whatever. You can get past that and just say it's fine, because you're not here for the great storyline. You're here for the great shooting. And it's fantastic. Each character, when you go and backtrack through everything, you have to find all these hidden ship parts. You have to use their unique skill sets. Juno can walk through lava without getting hurt. Vela can swim underwater. And Lupus gets to glide for a few seconds in the air, which is extremely useful in the platformer that's kind of more of a shooter and less of a platformer, and lets you have a little more air, which is really, really nice. But after you beat the first major boss in Mizar at the beginning, when at the middle of the game, when you all come back together, then the chief will also fit you with these jetpacks. That if you find these little fuel spots on the ground, you'll be able to fly for a short amount of time, which is really, really useful. Helps you get to certain areas where some of the tribals are hidden, or some of the challenge courses are hidden. You'll meet a little robot named Floyd halfway through. You'll reassemble him. He was working for Mizar before, but then decides to help you because you helped him. And you do these little Floyd missions, which are little ones where you do like a first-person section. You're trying to do some little objectives, do it as fast as you can. Getting an achievement here, if you're going for all achievements, you have to get a medal in all the Floyd missions. Some of them are well hidden. Some of them are really out of the way. Some are quite obtuse in trying to find like the ship part or the Floyd mission that you're looking for. It's kind of wild and weird. You'll find a lot of them kind of organically if you're going back through the world as each character, trying to find all the secrets. But some of them are hidden away so well, or there's not enough environmental cues, that it just feels like you have to have a guide at that point. I did most of this all by myself, but there were some points where I'm just like, I have no idea where even to look. This is one of my biggest criticisms of the game, outside of like the storyline and everything. The shooting is superb, but some of the worlds feel really aimless and open, and you don't really know what you're doing. There's no indicators, there's no natural signposting in a lot of the areas to find what you're looking for, and so it can be a bit annoying to trek through everything, and especially backtracking through everything. You're like, I don't even know what I'm looking for. Some of the side quests you have to do to unlock new areas, like you have to find like a book to give to this one guy to open up the mines and find a bunch of tribals there, and it's really bizarre. I can't even remember exactly what you need to do. But another one, like finding earplugs for one of the NPCs in the game to stop him from hearing the tribals whining and whimpering the whole time, you have to get a gold medal on a random Floyd mission. And it's just bizarre. It's obtuse. A lot of the objectives are just kind of wacky and weird. Some of the ship parts are hidden away pretty well. Again, most of the time exploring, you'll be able to find them. Some of them are hidden away really, really well, and you'll have to really look for them. But for the most part, the ship parts are pretty nice to find. You'll have little cues in the environment and think, okay, I see a jetpack fuel sign on the ground. I'm going to need to use that. It's probably hidden in this next area. Some of them were a little bit harder to find. But overall, the game is kind of hit or miss in its signposting and its pacing as well. But when you get to the finale of the game and you go against Mizar, he's a really fun fight. I think there are definitely better boss fights. The boss fights either range from like okay to really, really strong. I think they are more often more fun than not, but sometimes they can be extremely frustrating too. They are pretty difficult, and typically you need specific weapons. If you don't have the ammo for it, you need to really like make sure you have full ammo before you go into them. Usually they're good about leaving ammo behind, so you will have the right ammo for the job, but it can be hard to utilize your resources well. So I think overall they're pretty good, but they can be a little bit difficult. This game just really thrives on its fun shooting. Using the weapons and just blasting everything in sight is the most fun that you can have in this game, and luckily that's like 90% of the game. The backtracking and everything really services the shooting. Like the shooting is what's going to get you to want to go and backtrack throughout this world, get all the tribals, find all the ship parts, do all the extra stuff in order to finally beat this game. There's no other way to get to Mizar at the end except saving all the tribals and finding all the ship parts, which means you're going to pretty much have to 100% this game if you want to see it to its full conclusion. I think it's worth it. I think it's worth the time. I think it's worth the effort. The Floyd missions can be a little boring or annoying. especially if you're going for that gold rank on that random one that you really need. Some of the side quests can be kind of funky, but you will have a superb time shooting in this game. That is the highlight, and it's absolutely worth all your time. I'm going to be giving this one, despite all my grievances, a gold rank. It's just that fun. The shooting is just that fun across the board. And if you're playing this on the Xbox One, they have a new control scheme on like the title screen. I don't know if I said this earlier, where you can shift it, you can like change it on the title screen of the game, not in game. So if you try and go in game, they have like the original control sets that you can do. I think it's actually fairly intuitive. I started playing this game with the original control scheme from the Nintendo 64, and I think it works pretty darn well. But if you'd rather have the modern shooting conventions of holding down the left trigger to aim and right trigger to shoot and moving with the camera on the right stick, you'll definitely want to try that. I do think it's much smoother, and you'll probably enjoy that more. So if you want to go check this one out, Rare Replay is the best place to do it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.